Hello, everyone. Welcome to the After Church Tea Time. I am Christine, your host, and I am joined today by Fabian and Rachel.
Hello.
And today's sermon was really spot on, like it always is. It was all about the true purpose of the spiritual journey, how you can be with God, right? Because all of us, we found this work, at least most of us, because we wanted to be with our twin flame. First, that was the motive here. But as you progress on this journey, you can't help but notice that it's about way more than just your twin flame. It's about being with God. It's about embodying and living your life purpose. This is a really divine and beautiful thing. So yeah, it's just really beautiful how this journey is so simple and yet so profound at the same time.
I agree, and I want to say hi to everyone watching from the live retreat. I think they are having lunch now. You know, it's the
nice
Twin Flame Healing Retreat. So, hi guys.
Hello.
Beautiful sermon, absolutely, about romancing yourself. And yeah, that relationship with life as well. So how can you establish that relationship with life is maybe something that we can discuss more. And this is what Jose and Michaela shared, right? About that breakthrough when they felt like, I actually connect with life here and I relate to life. And this is the moment when everything changes, when my life is becoming better. And I think it begins with a choice, right?
Oh, yeah. This reminds me of something I hear from a lot of people who are first entering their twin flame journey. This feeling of like life is happening to them, like they're in this glass case and life is happening around them, but they're not really participating or relating to life. And yeah, I felt the same way too. And indeed, it's the moment when you start choosing to relate with life, when everything changes, when you realize that you have more power than you thought over your reality because your choices are very powerful. They're shaping your reality. And yeah, it's a really beautiful breakthrough moment because that's when you start to realize your true divine nature as a child of God.
So how can you come out of this state where you feel life is just passing by? Listening to music and dancing, maybe, right?
For some people, maybe. Yeah, I feel like it's about going all in, as Jose and Michaela mentioned. Like you really need to go all in and to see that, yes, God is real, love is real, this is real, and I'm part of it.
Yeah, I mean, the listening to music and dancing is very good, but it won't get you where you want to get to on its own. That's where the work comes in. And the journey, I mean, as you go deeper and deeper into love on the journey, possibly one of the biggest blocks to overcome is actually coming into, well, not the belief, but the knowing that love really is real. That is the core of the teaching. And all along the way, the ego will try to disprove that or try to tell you that love isn't real and here's why, and it will show you all sorts of things in your reality. And it's a process of learning what is real and what isn't. And the ego is what's not real. It can look very solid, it can appear very convincing, but it's an illusion, and you know when a feeling is illusory because it feels bad. The ego will tell you the opposite of the truth. Like, no, you can't have it, this isn't real, you're such a chump, as was said in one of the classes. And it's a process of learning to catch those moments and put the truth there. Like when ego says love's not real, no, love is real. Ego says you're not worthy. No, I am worthy.
I love that. Yeah. You can really tell when something feels bad. That's not true. You can tell because like we have this intuition in us as children of God that we are attuned to the truth as long as we're willing to really see what is in front of us. So we can always tell that, hey, okay, this doesn't feel bad. I'm willing to feel my feelings here and see what feels bad about it. And when we are choosing to feel our feelings, we will always know what is divine truth and what is not.
Sometimes there's excitement there or anxiety, and it's safe to experience this and to release it and to choose peace and to feel safe enough to connect with yourself, right? Again. Yeah, and absolutely going where fear is pointing to, because this is the other side of life. And when you approach that moment of fear, then there's also life returning to you.
Yeah. When it comes to fear, ignoring it is the best way to let it win. The way to deal with fear is to observe it. And it does dissolve. Sometimes it's just your loving presence that's enough to dissolve it, because you are divine, fear is not. And what happens to anything not divine in the presence of something that is divine, it dissolves. So that on its own proves that love is real. And I always remembered something that Fabian said in a discussion group. When pockets of doubt come up, or when you go deeper and find more little bits, just feel that doubt. And as you do, it transmutes into a greater knowing. So thank you for that. That was very helpful.
And that's the work, right? Because, the mirror exercise, step number 1, you feel upset at something. And then step number 4, when you get clear what really is upsetting you at the core, that's when you are present with it. That's how you heal it. And you can't heal something without being present with it. You can't heal it without facing it. It's not like you can ignore your way into harmonious union, ignore all the upsets piling up. You really need to be present, and that requires being in every area of your life, even the small ones, and saying, okay, this doesn't feel good. Why doesn't it feel good? And being willing to be honest with yourself also, and to take responsibility, because we create in our reality. So we can't really point our finger and blame everybody else for whatever it is, right? You really need to see where you are creating that in your reality.
And that persistence will get you there in the end. Oh, there's a lot to move through maybe. And there's a lot of feelings, a lot of layers to the onion. But eventually, day by day and block by block, we are transmuting it. And we are using these to build our dream house, right?
Yeah. So anyone watching this, please don't be discouraged if you've been doing the mirror exercise and nothing seems to be changing for a long time. Maybe the onion has a lot of layers before you get to the core, and then you get to the core and layers seem to get closer together, and then you're in the core of the core. And it feels like the same thing coming up over and over and over again. Everybody's got that one really sticky block that they seem to have been working on forever. No, don't worry, that's completely normal. You are moving through it. I mean, every time it comes up again and it looks the same. In actual fact, you're going deeper each and every time. So it's It's not really the same. You're getting closer with each step you take. Yeah, persistence. Whatever is in front of you will fall to your persistence. And everybody has different blocks. Some have more blocks in the area of romantic love. Other people don't have those, and maybe they manifest their unions a little bit sooner, but then another upset comes up, which is just as upsetting. So remember, your journey is unique. Don't compare yourself to other people's. You can learn a lot from other people on the journey, but if somebody else seems to be getting results sooner than you, don't worry, nothing's gone wrong. You're doing it right. It has to be the way it's unfolding for you for a specific reason, which will become clear to you. You'll have to play the hand that we're dealt, so we may as well play it well.
A great point about not comparing yourself to others, but to learn from their experience. Like, of course, it's important to learn from other people's experiences and from our own, but to compare yourself or to be like, okay, you're not doing this fast enough compared to so-and-so, that's not really helpful. And it's insane, actually. We all have our own unique challenges, and like every single journey has its own lessons, and those lessons inspire others in turn, which is really cool to see. Even if on the outside, you might be experiencing something very different compared to another union, but you can still learn so much from them.
Yeah, I like to remember that we're similar enough to learn from each other, but different enough to have completely unique paths.
And yeah, persistence was also mentioned today. And I love that because, yeah, a lot of times your journey is not going to look super glamorous. It's going to be, maybe a lot of crying, maybe a lot of upsets to move through. And that's okay. It's fine because you're being with God in that moment. And that's what's important. It's not about having the results super fast and like looking good for the rest of the world. That's something the ego would want to tell you. Like, okay, let's have the results so we can brag about it. But it's all about being with God and the love that you enjoy within yourself and the peace you're creating within yourself. And this was mentioned in a previous Sunday service about building a foundation and how it feels like it's taking so much time, but it's very important to do that. And building a foundation, a lot of the times you're not going to see a result, but it needs to be there for you to manifest the result and to maintain it. Because yeah, it's not good to just, you manifest your union, but then you break up and then you manifest it again. It's not very compassionate. You need to have a good, strong foundation to maintain that.
Yeah, really releasing expectations here, how the journey should look like, and taking it easy. It's difficult enough, and having a good self-talk, being your own best friend. And I think Nikita shared this, that it's not about how it looks like. It can look messy, releasing perfectionism, like you also mentioned. And yeah, in the end, it only matters that you get there and that you don't quit on yourself, even if it's difficult, that you keep pursuing God and love.
Yeah, because you remember that you are going to manifest what you're choosing. It's spiritual law, it has to manifest just at the right time. But God probably won't bring it to you in the way that you expect or in the way that you want him to. So however it looks on the outside is okay. If it looks horrendous, it's okay if you're the only thing that matters is what you're choosing right now. And I wrote down a quote from Jeff that he put in the group the other way because everything he's been posting has been really beautiful, and this seems relevant right now. You need to inflame the cultivates in the same garden. You don't get a say in what their part is, only your part. You can only focus on your part of the garden and trust it's for them. And they'll love it because you did it and you love it. Do what you love and they'll be attracted to the particular fragrance of love only you can create. And it's about, it becomes less and less about them and more about your relationship with God and your relationship with love itself. And we're living life now. And we can perhaps expand into that a little bit in a moment.
Yes, feels like a good thing to expand upon, because a lot of people have noticed, they're like, okay, my twin flame is with this person, that's why we're not together, or my twin flame isn't talking to me, that's why we're not together. And it's this like, blame your twin flame, right? But it's never really about what your twin flame is doing. And of course you can look at them and that can show you where the block is, your union. So communication block, not choosing yourself, all those things. But it's not because your twin flame is not talking. It's all about, you know, you're not talking to yourself, you're not communicating with the divine, not listening to your intuition. That is manifesting in this state. So ultimately, it's all about your relationship with God.
I had this before, I think a couple of years ago, that I wanted to impress my twin flame. And I saw that I just have to be really amazing for one date. And she just needs to see me in my state, where I'm really myself and I can talk and I'm confident and funny. And then I'm safe in my union. This is more like old soulmate thinking, right? And the energy behind it is not really eternal. And what we are learning is to live life eternally. So having that everyday effort, which manifests permanent union.
I love that you're bringing up this point, because a lot of us have this experience with soulmate relationships and soulmate dating, and like there's this emphasis on doing great on the first date or on the first kiss or the first milestone, and that needs to be perfect, even though ultimately it doesn't really matter. And I had a fun experience with my first official date with my twin flame. It was like anything that could go wrong on that day did. The weather was horrible. It was like raining like crazy. My makeup and my hair was ruined. So yeah, it wasn't ideal in any way, but it was still a really beautiful time. And like we connected so deeply that day. And that was what was important. It was the love that was shared and being authentic, and not really about, how it looked. Rachel, I think you wanted to unmute.
Yeah, there's quite a few things that I wanted to talk about, but they've all been passing through so quickly. Well, first of all, Fabienne, you already are amazing. If you
Oh yeah, I agree.
yeah, and your twin flame, she knows you already. I mean, who you are is who she loves. And this is something that Jeff said to you in her class. If you're doing loads of things in order to be enough for your twin flame, you just end up with a whole lot more not enough. Because, for example, in 2018, before I came into the work, I was swimming 12 miles a week to be enough. And all that happened there was that I attracted someone that was not my twin flame, and that, you see, I sent them packing. But moving on from there, yeah, you were talking about your official day and your makeup ran and everything. I had a dream about my twin flame last night, and he looked smaller and skinnier than in real life. It was very physical, very present and grounded and deep and intimate and connected. And I could see all his imperfections and ordinariness. And I just thought, oh, I love him. This is the man I love. And I didn't have any makeup on in the dream. I was having a bad hair day. We got our glasses mixed up. I put his on. I could still see just as well. So it seems to be talking about the same sort of thing. You don't have to be anything other than who you are. If you try and be something else, they won't recognize you. Just be you. If that's being a little bit nerdy, then own it. They love that, and they love you.
I think I'm a great example of being a bit nerdy because I'm very nerdy, and that's how we met actually. Both of us being nerdy. So yeah, it's okay. However you are, it's fine. It's perfect for you, twin flame.
Thank you for that, Rachel. Did not expect that, but happy to hear that. And it's a great reminder that we are already awesome, and it's about being authentic, and just being okay with where we are at, and releasing perfectionism and expectation.
Yeah, and the other piece we were going to expand into was the bit about living life now. Because whatever stage you're at, that's what you're doing. I've had clients say to me, "Oh, I'll be happy when I'm with him." No, it doesn't work like that. If you're not happy now, you won't be happy with them. They'll just amplify everything. You're not creating a life away from your person. You're creating a life that they can join you in, that they can walk into, but then they won't slot in and love you in all the places you haven't been loving yourself. They can only mirror the places where you have been loving yourself, or else they'll just reflect back to you all the places that are not healed. And yeah, sometimes it can be quite surprising how many of those there are, but we'll just move through them step by step. If they upset you, then that's a wonderful gift. They're giving you your next steps. A big batch of feelings to work through with the mirror exercise. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's the big ego trap, right? I'll be happy when I have this thing. When I have like the perfect body, the perfect house, a lot of money, all these conditions we put in our happiness. And ultimately, even when you do receive those things, you notice that they don't really add to your happiness. You'll feel the same way inside.
Yeah, and it's a nasty trick that ego or society plays on people. Because basically what we're after is God, what we're after is love, and it may give men and women a different message. They might say to men, if you have money and status, then you'll have love. Might say to women, if you're beautiful and brilliant, you'll have love, and you achieve all these things. And love's not forthcoming because that's not where it comes from. It comes from God.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing I've noticed with this ego trap, it's like when you think that you'll be happy when you have something, that's when you're not relating to life, because life wants you to be happy now and can offer you all these reasons to be happy now. You can just choose to be happy now. But instead, it's always like, oh, one day I will be happy, one day I will relate with life. And yeah, that day's never going to come.
I like that with the being present, and then you are happy. And when you are in the thinking of, oh, maybe in the future, or if that happens, it's just a reminder that, I choose to be present. It's the appropriate choice here to experience the happiness that can only be experienced now, right?
Yeah, your union doesn't exist outside the present moment. It's not in some superior future moment that's going to come in at some point. That sends people into the trap of waiting. You're not waiting for anything. It has to be now, or the only thing we have is the now. The past and the future don't exist. So when you come into the realization that it is here and now and always has been, that's when it can manifest in the physical.
Yeah, it's the same thought process as the divine masculine is going to come home tomorrow or in a month. Right? But yeah, tomorrow comes, next month comes. Where's the divine masculine? Well, nowhere, because you're not being present. So yeah.
The masculine, it already is home.
Exactly.
Home in your heart.
Yeah, that's why it's not manifesting, because it's like what you're manifesting when you say that is like, oh, the divine masculine is separate from me, somewhere out there, and I'm just waiting. So it keeps feeding into the belief. So
Yeah, he's not a separate person, or she's not a separate person. They can't do anything independently. So that's why you can focus entirely on yourself, and everything else takes care of itself. If you're looking over there at what they're doing, then you're going outside of yourself, you're leaving yourself, and then they will mirror that, which we don't want. We don't feel good. So bring it all in. Turn around 180, face your heart. That's where your twin flame is. That's where God is. That's where all the answers are that you're seeking.
Jose and Michaela also talked about this in their sermon, that you shouldn't fixate on your twin flame, focus on God instead, and God as a person. And then you can establish that relationship to God as a person. And yeah, I feel that is part of romance and part of creating that relationship with life is seeing God as a person.
it's actually very juicy, and I'd like to expand on that, because I feel a lot of us have a religious background of some sort, and like in my case, I was never really taught that God is a person. It was always, up in the sky, watching everything I'm doing and being all judgmental and stuff. And like you can't really connect with God unless like you go to church, you fast for however many days, and that's how you can connect with God, by following rules. But that's very different to what we're doing here as unionists, right? Because here it's all about, you can connect with God any moment. And in fact, you should be connecting to God in every moment through everything you do. And the way you live life, every second can be an act of worship instead of just, praying a few times a week.
Yeah, because if it feels like a chore or an obligation, you're doing it wrong. If it's boring, it's not God. And I actually picked up on something that Granville said in the introduction about the idea of God being some distant figure or character beyond the stained glass window. And that kind of religious thinking just emphasizes the illusion of separation between a person and with God. And then everybody who buys into this will then project their own divinity onto this figure and leave themselves feeling like an impoverished thing. And that's the belief system that we're moving away from. Also, the idea that God's a punishing God or not really a loving God, all that's got to change. And it's not, it's not just the God the Father and the Divine Mother, but also God the Lover. And that's a core piece of unionism, and that can take quite a bit of getting used to. But when you claim God as your ultimate lover, then God can manifest to physically through the body of your twin flame. Only in God is your twin flame found.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of religions, like God the lover is never presented as the lover. It's always, God the Father and, God being stern and stuff like that. And indeed, you can't really form a relationship with a God that is out there, because that's separate from God. But when God is your everything, God is also your lover, it's so easy to form a relationship. And yeah, those blocks will need to be cleared, of course. And also something that Jose and Michaela mentioned in their sermon about God like having a sense of humor. That was one of the things that shocked me when I was first starting my relationship with God on a deeper level, because I never thought of God as someone that could have a sense of humor. So that was a very cool surprise.
Well, God is not this old grumpy man in the sky.
Yeah, it's real
Very,
funny.
very vibrant and alive, right?
Yeah, everybody is an extension of God. And the part of God that you are an extension of is the aspect of God that's most like you. So I had another dream actually, many years ago actually, where I was best friends with God, and we were like two teenage girls on the phone, joking and laughing together. So yeah, so society teaches us the idea of God as something very narrow, but really, God is something that everyone can relate to, someone that everyone can relate to, because He created everyone. So we are all an aspect, extension, a little piece of God. So we can relate, we can have a relationship. He's not something other. That's what it is. Yeah, I think I've cracked it there.
It's beautiful. And I love the way you shared it about how everybody being a piece of God. Because yeah, that's true. And it's really beautiful when you think of it. And that's also very easy to see, I feel, in, for example, great artists. When you see their work, you can tell there's something very divine there. That's where they connect with God.
Or in a Ferrari, in a Porsche, everything that you like in a masterpiece is divine, is God, right? In the favorite music song, in poetry, the brilliance of God is shining through. Something that Jeff and Shaleia shared in the class today that also happened.
Very timely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've gone full circle. Yeah, it's 100% about your relationship with God and with love itself. And when they say God first, then you, then your twin flame, then everyone else, what that means is when you're needing love, go to God first. When your twin flame comes in and loves you, it's God loving you through them. And you loving them, that's God loving them through you. As Jeff said in a class, you think you desire your person, it's God desiring them through you. It's all the same love, it comes from the same source. And you've always got access to that source within you. And so you should be tapping into it at all times and pull yourself up inside whenever not so good feeling comes up. Always tap into that source, deliver love there again and again and again and again and again. That's the process. That's working it.
That's one of the biggest takeaways, right? Because what you always desire at the core is God. Like you may think you desire your twin flame, but it's God through your twin flame desire there. And it's always God in every single thing. You know, it's in that piece of cake that you want to eat, or in that TV show that you really like. It's God's love that you're really craving. And that's the form it takes.
Yeah, the form that was tailored especially for you. And you were tailored especially for them.
Yeah, and doing the best is enough. You know, you will approach this critical moment, this critical union, when you romance and love God so much that it cannot possibly be any different than your twin flame manifest. So really persist in loving and really claim that love there, and then boom, voila, the twin flame must manifest.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, and then you don't come to realize that that love was always there. It never went anywhere. It was never anywhere else. And that you were loved all along. And God really does love you this much to let you have this. I mean, that's been a big one for me. Surely God doesn't love me that much. And that's been, ever since the beginning, and I'm going back now to 2008. It's like God was basically saying to me, look, this is your desire. I gave it to you. I want you to have it. And I was like, no, God, I couldn't possibly. So that's a big thing I've had to relearn, and probably quite a lot of people as well.
Yeah, and even the word desire, it means of the Father, right? It comes from God. So how can God give you a desire and not want you to have it? Insane.
Yeah, when we look at it logically, it makes no sense.
I feel like every idea of the ego never makes sense when you look at it with logic. It's that weak. It's like you apply some basic logic here and it just, boom, it's gone. All right, so I'm feeling pretty complete here. How about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Feeling good as well. Yeah, really. Something from the meditation I got was to flower into who you are. You know, flower with sharing your gifts. And this is also a way to, of course, romance life, is by sharing gifts, by living your life purpose. And this is, also one avenue to approach life with through your life purpose.
Yeah, that's also very important.
Beautiful. Yeah. And flowers are also a great way to romance yourself. So the symbol of romance.
By the way, Rachel, since you are here, please don't mind me asking, how is your musical? Are you romancing yourself with music?
Oh yes, I am. Well, I've got my controller now and been bouncing the tunes out. However, I have something else to share.
See now the good stuff.
We'll talk about God's great art.
Oh wow!
Oh, beautiful.
I started painting again on Wednesday for the first time since I came back into the work, or since I came into the work. I was doing the subtitles for a class the other day where Shaleia was saying that she felt she looked like she had no energy because she realized that she was putting everything into her twin flame business, and there were aspects of her being that she was not expressing. And this is particularly important to me. So, I just have an issue with getting the paint on the records. You don't want to be doing that. You're in a club and the needle jumps because there's a fleck of paint on it.
DJ problems.
Yes.
Well, that art piece looks amazing, so.
I'm glad you approve.
Very romantic.
Yeah, so press on with that one. It's coming on.
And great way to romance yourself.
Thank you.
I love what you brought up about making sure to take care of all aspects of yourself, expressing yourself in every way, because that's important. And a lot of times we might think that, I should put everything I have into my business, right? And after that blossoms, I can take care of the rest of me. It's the same idea as I will be happy when. But yeah,
you have to do it in a balanced way.
Exactly. It's important to take care of all of yourself.
Yeah, not neglect certain areas of your life. You are a very diverse being with many needs.
Okay, so on that note, shall we call it a day?
Yeah, I feel like the energy is wrapping up. So thank you, Fabian and Rachel, for joining me today. And thank you to everyone who has been watching. And we will see you in the next
Thank you.
one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless.